Hey everyone, welcome back to Subspace App Syncs. I'm Arthur. This is week 2022 of September 27th. Let's get started. Starting off, everyone can see the screen, right? Okay. First ticket, that's done. Let's go. Update map.
I think this is the old one. We covered it last
But
time.
I'm
Can
pretty
you maybe
sure I archived this, but okay, let's do this again. Make space pledge visible on UI.
same?
Okay. I'm going to archive again on video so we have proof that I've archived this. Okay, here, this is a new one. Reduce metadata queries.
Yeah, so it's related to the Subspace metadata service, which I created so we can reflect, we can display on the Subspace telemetry unique address count. And we also fetch space pledged from this service now as well, not from the node directly. So there was a problem that front end was querying this service too often. And yeah, this PR fixed it. Now we query every 10 seconds. So there is less load on this service.
Okay, excellent. Optimize telemetry backend to reduce data. I linked the two issues. Ivan, if you want, you can talk about it quickly. It's 31 and 34.
Yeah, sure. So the thing is, like, we basically switched our telemetry from the reactive updates to the updates like within some interval. So basically, we're pushing the data to the users to their front ends like every second, I believe, right now. But we can supply like every 6 seconds. Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, 6 seconds is a block time. So yeah, most of the events are now sent like every second. Yeah, but like some events are still like that, so there is still a room for improvement. Like for example, we are updating the node count like at every time when the node is joining or like exiting from the telemetry. So yeah, but mostly solved all the issues from telemetry. Yeah, but there are still some flaws with that. So yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. So I think then we can start working on bringing back the listen map view then with these reduction, and I believe that we greatly reduce our bandwidth. So that's great to hear. Cool. I think we have a ticker for that, so we can revisit that. Add graceful degradation. We talked about that last time for sure. This is the same one. Okay, I think I see what's happening. This just kept moved to the bottom, but user inputs, valid, define. Okay, here we go. Let's start with this one. Trail of bits audit issue number 2. This is new.
Okay. So previously, we were using Polkadot.js library for this validation, but apparently it's not enough because it allows the user to enter a valid hex number or hex value, and they are able to pass this validation, although the reward address is not in the correct format still. So backend is rejecting it, although frontend is accepting it. So for the solution, we are using the backend function in the front end via Tauri command, and that solved the issue.
Okay, awesome, nice work. Trail bits audit number 4, flawed regex in Tauri config.
Yes, the regex was flawed. The short-term fix was to obviously fix the regex, but instead I took the long way and applied the long-term solution, which disables the privileges for this shell open function to the front end, and instead the backend is doing this work. So the long-term solution is applied, and we are good to go.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for that. These are the linking PR, so that's great. And then now this is recorded, everybody can see me archive all the cards. So if this comes up next week, it's not me. Okay, moving on. In progress. This is reduced front end. I think this is done. So I'm going to move this to, I'll fix this later, but I'm going to archive this card in a second. But we want to talk about re-enabling the stats view and then the other item. So moving forward, re-enable stats view. I think we did this, right, Serge?
Yeah, I think it was re-enabled a long time ago.
Okay, so let's
It,
update all.
yeah, just the amount of data that is rendered on UI is less now because we're not sending everything after changes by Ivan.
Okay. I moved this over to in progress, but I think this is the issue number 1, group right permissions for the config file. So Natasha, I think you're mentioning this earlier. Want to talk a little bit about it?
Yeah, I started working on this ticket yesterday after I finished the first one. And this one, we were looking to just allow the permissions to be changed from the front end. But as we received the audit number 2, we figured out that it's better to do all writing files and configurations from the backend for security. So now we're gonna do is create a function on the backend that will create the config file and add the permissions. So the front end can read that function instead of doing it by itself. That's why I talked with Osmond this morning regarding this issue. So I changed my approach to this and should finish it today.
Okay, excellent. Investigate memory usage of telemetry. Ivan, I put this into progress, but this is based on the conversation with Nazar. So any updates on this?
Not yet. Yeah, I was trying to reproduce it like locally on our test environment. So yeah, nothing related to that. So I've been trying to use the like the script for like pumping the telemetry with some fake data of the nodes. So no luck with that. I think that the issue might be related to some kind of like allocation, not freeing the data with that. But yeah, overall, like I went through the code, and it seems that yeah, when I look at the code, like didn't show like any signs of like visible memory leakage. So yeah, we'll look into that more, but no results so far.
Okay, perfect. Thanks for the update. All right, we have a few items in inbox, but before that, let's just clean up the triage real quick. So again, we now have all our audit fixes that we need that are coming from our Trail of Bits audit that has concluded this week. So just to remind everyone, we have about 3 months to get this fixed. So, but we're gonna get started as quickly as possible. Thanks again to the team for already closing 2 of those, and now we have 7 remaining. So we'll just use this to track the remaining items. Going back to the triage list, I'm going to start pulling in all of those tickets, and then let's spend a little time kind of figuring this out. Trick code. Oh, this is the other thing they provide, right? So let's put it here. So cool. Oh, also this is another important one. This telemetry. So I think for the most top of the highest priority one probably right now is probably bringing back, let's see, this one, the node updates is pretty important, right? This is based on the reactive message that Nazar had mentioned, Ivan, earlier. Does this sound about right? This is the reactive message Nazar is bringing up about reducing the number of nodes UI detail.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Okay. Use logarithm scale for dots on the map. I think with the backend changes now, could we start doing some work on this?
Since we are not rendering map right now, well, I can start doing it anyway, but I think it's less priority until we start rendering map again.
So I think with the new way that we're omitting a lot more data and we're reducing the bandwidth, I think we could start bringing back list and map view, correct? Okay, so then why don't we start bringing those back, and then we can start implementing the logarithmic scale for dots. I think it would be good for us to start bringing those features back for telemetry as we're ongoing with the Gemini 2A.
Okay.
Add space pledge component for every chain. I think this is the nice to have, right, for the other chains that we mentioned before.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this down underneath the audit. I think we should do some prioritization on the audits as well, since we want to get this done quickly. Update dependencies number 6. I think this one's pretty straightforward.
Not that much, because some of these are not delivered with alternatives. So the Trail of Bits team suggested that these are not good, but for some of the packages or some of the dependencies, there were no alternatives. So we have to change the code a bit. But for others, yeah, simply updating or using the alternatives would do the work.
Also, some frameworks, for example, like Quasar framework, which is used on UI, it has some dependencies with vulnerabilities. So it can be challenging to replace those.
Okay, so can we do this in like 2 phases? Let's try to get all the easier dependencies updated. I don't have a good answer on the Quasar one, so I guess we're gonna have to figure that out.
Maybe
We
forking.
just try to fix
Forking, oh,
Quasar
God.
upstream.
Yeah, I guess that's the other one.
We can create an issue at least and move from there.
Okay, let's just try to tackle all the dependencies that are the low-hanging fruits that we can fix, and then for the more complicated one, let's just start figuring out fix upstream, open an issue, and hope for the best there.
Maybe Serge and me can start that. Like for the front end ones, Serge can deal with them, and for the back end ones, I can deal with them. That should be a good start. What do you say, Serge?
Yeah, works for me. Actually, on the front end, it's only Quasar dependencies.
All right, then, good.
So,
Okay, perfect. This is pretty easy. This is number 7. This is with the Discord link. It's an invalid one. So I think we just need to fix it. I think it would be nice too if we can like just put it to a configuration. I think one of the audit reports was like moving stuff from being hard-coded links or hard-coded values in the code base. So maybe we can also do that as well. So
I had a comment on that one. So should we still put the Discord link? Because as they said, these links are expired after some time. So maybe we can direct the users to the forum instead.
yeah, I think
That way
that's
it will be stationary.
cool. Sounds great. Like that idea. Let's see. We can get to. I think these are the big ones, right? Validate data sooner in lifecycle number 8. If I remember correctly, they were suggesting that the way we handle the farmer, they want us to do the data validation as soon as possible. I think there was 2 solutions. I forget the exact details, but
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Like in case of any invalid disk, we are still starting the relayer service, which shouldn't have been, as they said. So it should be easy fix.
okay. I'm gonna put this for you. All right, does that sound good?
All right. Yeah, that works.
All right, perfect. I think we talked about this last week, but let's issue number 3, improper air handling. This one you said was kind of a larger change, I believe. Okay.
True.
Let's skip that for now. We already talked about that. Number 5. This is the privilege separation. Go ahead.
Only supplied the heading, but as the previous one, this also includes many subtasks.
So let's figure out like the strategy for this. So it sounds like if we should probably get the other ones taken care of first before we do number 5, right? Because that one's going to be rely on all these changes. All right. Okay, so this looks good. And then this is the same thing, well, related to number 7 too, but remove duplication and hard-coded values. But pretty much wherever we have, we should try to defer into a config and remove duplication. It sounds about right. Okay. Let's put this together. I think this is kind of easy thing to deal with number 7. And these we already went into last week, so that's good. The last one, so I think this week Justin's out, so I've just been looking at Subspace desktop, or sorry, Subspace docs. So I just opened this issue for me to look at, but essentially I would like to fix this. I think there's something wrong with the GitHub Actions, but TLDR, it keeps spamming every time you close one of this, so I'm just probably going to disable it or look into fixing it. So I'll probably take some time to kind of clean up the docs as Justin's out for the interim. So I can handle that. Okay. Export node data list. I'm going to move this out for now because it's not too critical. So I'll put this back in the backlog. But essentially, that's just a way for marketing to get that data from telemetry. But if we can bring back the list in map view, then I think we can handle their use case for this.
I think that's a separate issue.
Yeah, they wanted to create a CSV, but I think that was because that with the list and map view gone, they weren't able to get visibility, right?
That was before. That's a separate requirement that from the list and map view. It's still something which would be really helpful for them, and I think easy to implement.
Okay.
So even if we had the map view, they would still want to have this, like with the way telemetry was working before.
Okay. I think we can put this on the bottom of the list for inbox because I think audit and the other ones probably take priority, or do you feel?
It would take, I mean, honestly, it should be pretty easy. So I think we could give it somebody priority. But it would be very helpful to have that during the testnet, during Gemini 2.
Okay, fair enough. So let's say, if anyone has some spare cycle, let's try to get this done. Let's put this towards the top. Does that work for everyone? Excellent. Cool. I think that's pretty much it for the inbox. Anyone else have any other conversations or discussions to be had?
Yeah, I have something. So we are currently using as our production branch for telemetry front-end stress test branch, which is a little bit confusing. So maybe we can use Subspace customizations branch, which
Sure.
is like initial branch from the forked repository.
Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's start merging. We can start merging and taking over that branch. Would it just be better for us to call it like something else? I know we're still pushing commits upstream, but
No, currently we don't.
I actually opened like one commit, not a commit, but the PR, like with the fixing of the clip errors, yeah, but nothing like very serious.
I think my angle is that I'm okay with getting off the front end stress test because that was just a temporary branch anyways. Would we be opposed to calling Subspace customization like production branch, since like that's mostly us using it anyway? I just want it to be a lot more predictable going forward, so we know main is upstream, production, or whatever name you guys all agree on, is the one that we're deploying for production. And then if we're still making other developments, that way we can start using our production telemetry droplet and then our telemetry testing droplet to start pushing changes forward. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, so then the first step, let's mirror front end to Subspace customization. And then in Slack, we can decide the final name for a production branch. Let's put on Notion so we can keep track of this, and then we can start making a better process to deploy telemetry. Okay, awesome. Anything else? Going once. Nice. Okay. Well, if that's it, then that concludes our Subspace Apps Sync today, and we'll see you all next week.